826 was August 26th, coming up here soon, is his birthday, and back then their numbers were after their birthday. So we named August 26th, 826 Chief Greg Fugit Day each year in Louisa. And he'll be added with Ed Cordell and some of the rest of them. So, but he could not be here tonight, but that's for the last few years. And seeing 100, 150, 200 kids in a whole water, and imagine the responsibility that's on them during that summer season. So they kept our pool open this year. They run the pool. It's been a very successful year, probably close to record attendance, I would say. If you look at the numbers, I know well over 5,000 paid admissions this since May 31st. So you're talking about just a couple of months here. 5,000 kids have paid to get in, and these folks looked after their safety and well-being the entire time. Joey's daughter Riley is assistant manager. She's been with us 2, I know if not 3 years. Does an excellent job. Shauna Hughes was the new manager this year, and I was talking to Shauna one night when I went to the pool. I'll make this quick. One night when I went to the pool, a church from West Virginia was having a pool party, and a parent from the church crew come to me and said, "You're the mayor, right?" I had on shorts and t-shirt, was checking chlorine, probably thought I was the maintenance man. And I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, I wanted you to know," he said, "one of your lifeguards just saved a kid's life." I said there was a little, I take it, toddler or close to it, that went from the baby pool to the big pool, couldn't swim, and she was on top of it, witnessed it, entered the water, got the child out, and saved the child's life. So a parent from the church over there in West Virginia told me that. So I kept that in the back of my mind and wanted to recognize her for that. And then when I talked to Shauna today, she said, actually, we had 4 lifeguards that entered the water in various degrees of emergency. Some maybe just kid got in over his head for just a second, couldn't swim. One in that case where it went from the baby pool. So I don't know the specific details, but I know we have 4 lifeguards that exercised their training to partake in saving a kid some point at the pool. And I wanted to recognize them tonight. And this was from some people from West Virginia up the way, I think. So we went to Yatesville Lake to swim yesterday evening, and while we were there, my oldest son, I won't use his name, swam out to the center of the lake to get his sister. He got out there and the currents was too strong. His body gave out. He could barely stay up, and he panicked, struggling to swim. My husband tried to go get him, but the water was just pulling him where he couldn't, and it was a nightmare. My son went underwater a few times. He was hollering for us. At first, I thought he was joking. And 3 men, 1 who swam to him, and 2 on a boat hurried and made it to my son. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You saved my son's life and didn't have to. You risked your life to save my son, who you didn't even know, and God put you there at the right time because there was no way we could swim to get him. He swallowed so much water, he was throwing up badly after, and I was in a state of shock after trying to process what happened so fast. But my son is okay, and it's all thanks to strangers. I cannot be more grateful to people like you, to the ones also on the boat, thank you, because I didn't even get your names, but God knows what you did. But the one that swam to get the young man was our employee, Cody Napper, who works in the water office and just happened to be at the lake. And what a heroic, hearing his mom tell that story, what a heroic, and you know, God did put Cody there, because if I'd have been there, I couldn't have done it. I can't swim that well, and Cody's endurance, he's a bodybuilder, weightlifter, a fitness, the endurance that he had and it took to swim as far as he did, to save the child, and, I'm sure there was a minute or two when scary on your end.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about bringing a child back, and he said the child was just about lifeless when he, well, wasn't a child, he's a big kid, you know.
Yeah.
Young adult teenager. So Cody, if you come up, you know what, the great if you all remember, I was talking about a water leak across the Lick Creek, which feeds customers on Louisa Drive. So it's a pipe, it's a line that goes between the plant and Louisa Drive, goes under Lick Creek. During the flood back in the spring, it started, the ground slipped from the flood, caused a leak. And it's been leaking ever since. And been working with FEMA extensively to try to get it approved so it could be paid through FEMA funds. And while we were doing so, the leak got worse, which started causing some pressure issues over on Louisa. And my worry was if we had lost the entire line, we'd have that group of people without fire protection and water, with no way to provide them water. So for the first time in my 10 years, actually, I signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency in that particular instance, and ran it through the city attorney and through the Kentucky League of Cities. League of Cities helped me prepare an appropriate executive order, and I signed the executive order to move on with the construction as quickly as possible. Although, even though we bypassed the bid process, I did reach out to the two contractors whom I feel would have been the two that would have bid anyway, and we got quotes submitted in writing from both of those. There was $20-some thousand difference in the two quotes. We took the lowest quote at $75,700 and awarded that. They have been working for a week and are expected to tie in tomorrow at noon with the new line to provide Louisa Drive with full pressure again, and know that we're not gonna lose it, not be without water. I've worked with FEMA. It is gonna be funded by FEMA. So completely transparent on that we did bypass the bid process under a state of emergency and pursued the two quotes and went with the cheapest one. First time in 10 years I've ever had to do that. All right, and so that's good news that they're getting it back online tomorrow. Also, as far as the paving's concerned, we was certainly making good grounds until if you remember, we awarded the bid to Blacktop Industries over in West Virginia, and then they subcontracted the milling out to another company as a sub. That company that was milling, done something to the milling machine that was major, and just left and said, we're out of service till we get it fixed. So, if you remember, we was gonna do all of Franklin. They had half done when they damaged the machine, and so I'm gonna be in contact with them soon to see when they're coming back, but they should come back and finish all that list that we give them. But that's why we did the ones you see done and then left, because they damaged the machine and got to get it fixed. Say again, it was successful, and even though I say successful, it gets harder and harder each year to make it break even or make any little bit of a profit. Everything's gotten so expensive. The chemicals has went to the roof. The electricity, just everything, the insurance, everything, it's hard to even break even, but we've done it again I believe we'll have you final numbers next meeting, but it looks like we might break even if we're lucky. All right, I don't think I have anything else on projects. Under old business, I had to approve the minutes from the July 8th meeting. I'd entertain a motion to approve them. Enter them into the record.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. I'll second by Mr. Chapin. Any questions on the minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Departmental golf cart UTV ordinance. I put some more documents in your packet this time. I hope you had time to look at them. And only thing I wanted to say is clarify that, myself nor the city of Louisa did not make golf carts illegal. They were already. That's a state law. I didn't make it and I can't change it. But it kinda seemed like in the news maybe that we had made them illegal, but we didn't, and we can't. And, I was just stating the fact that after doing the research, all slow-moving vehicles, including golf carts, are illegal on public roads, period. That's just the way it's always been. And it took me back to, I remember when a kid and I was riding a dirt bike on the road and Charlie Canoe pulled me over. He said, push it. So, you had to push it home. He didn't do undo you, but he made you push it. So nothing's changed. What I did do is put in your packet, cause at the last meeting, Chief had looked at some ordinances from other towns. He also looked at the KRS, what the new KRS, what cities are allowed to do now if you choose to allow golf carts. And some ordinances from cities that have done it. I believe there's one here from Prestonsburg. I believe there's also Kentucky League of Cities sent me one from the city of Auburn that they really liked. Obviously not the only way it could be done, but it's an example, and that's what Bud told us to do, is look at some examples. So, if you see in that Auburn one, you would be picking certain streets. And then I just wanna say this, and then I'm gonna let you all discuss it, but, since the golf cart issue came up, the ATV or UTV issue has also came up in various counties. The county seems to deal with them more so than cities. ATVs, side-by-sides and all that wants to be legal on the road. So now, the state of Kentucky has given local governments the authority to make them legal if you so choose. And there's a statute that you can go by to make the ordinance. The county, to my understanding, has already passed the first reading of an ordinance that would allow them in the county with no restrictions other than basically the same sort of principles as defined in the golf carts. Lighting, inspection by the sheriff, and pay a little fee, I don't know, $10 or something to that extent, and then they can be licensed. Now, Bud, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but everything I've looked at, that county ordinance does not allow them in the city. We can mimic the same ordinance and allow them in the city, but that county ordinance does not allow city streets.
I don't know don't think it does. So I guess we're free to do what we want and not do anything at all.
Right, exactly. So with that being said, you all have the information of, you know, if you want to pass an ordinance, in here is the law of how to do it.
Can I just clarify something?
Yeah.
I've got a lot of flack. It was not an intention of any of us, especially me, to make it a profit thing for the city. That's what I have heard, oh, you all just want to make the money. The reason I brought up is the safety issue that many people were complaining about. And since it's been brought up, and, you know, a lot of people are like, yes, we're for it, then some people are like, well, you're taking away my freedom. That was not our intent. Its intent is safety, and your freedom is not being taken away. We're just asking everyone to be responsible and not drive wild and crazy. But making money, I didn't even know that you charged, that there was a fee to register. I mean, that, you know.
We've had our first one reported to make their ATV street legal too. First one.
The money thing comes in by the KRS. They're the one that spells out that the sheriff has to do the inspection.
We don't get it, they get it.
The sheriff.
Yeah.
And the sheriff. Now, we can have a sticker that we can charge for the sticker, you certainly wouldn't make any money. We could charge $3 or $5 or whatever for a sticker.
But it's gonna cost someone to do it, an employee to do.
It is, sure.
But I just want the safety, I didn't, they don't have to be
But
registered.
has everyone reviewed the KRS that if you, currently they are illegal, if you choose to make them legal, those are the specifications you would have to set forth. And that includes lighting, insurance, and,
The operator has to be 16 and over.
yeah, yes,
And a license,
And
35
a
miles
license.
an
and license.
License.
35 miles an hour.
Yes.
They can't go over 35.
Yeah, well, the golf cart goes 35, it's crazy fast.
They're out there. They can be fast.
Yes, the golf cart didn't see it.
And it's got a big traffic.
Chief, I know you spent some time on it, do you wanna add anything or take away,
No, I think that's pretty much covered it, just so in looking at this, the KRS on it spells out what guidelines you'd have to go by to allow them, but in that, there was never actually any penalty or charging mechanism to that, so this golf carts were illegal, but there was nothing really that you could charge people for driving with a golf cart unless, I observed them run a stop sign, and I could charge them for running a stop sign, cause a lot of the traffic code and stuff specifies a motor vehicle, and under KRS, golf cart is not considered a motor vehicle. So this does give a little bit of a enforcement backing to it, to where if we had to, you could actually do something, but most of the time when we've got calls on this stuff, we just talk to people, hey, take it home, and they usually, no issues. So, but before, there really wasn't nothing that you could specifically, like with ATVs, you could charge them for driving an ATV on a roadway, but there never was actually anything with this, so that's what it allows the city to do.
Also, I checked with the insurance agent, and you're not covered under your vehicle insurance, and you're not covered under your homeowners, so when there's an accident that happens, I don't know if people realize that you're on your own.
you can have, but they're not automatic.
There's a fine line.
You gotta tell them about it
Yeah.
and register it with them.
Yeah.
That's what, Sherry said, you could add it to your homework, but I mean, you have to go do it and pay
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. How many people
It's not
think
just
about, how many people know that they need to add that on?
It's not automatically on there.
And then now that Kentucky has a law, you have to be 16, even if you had that insurance, you might be able to prove that.
Any more questions for Bud or the chief? I don't think I know anymore.
Can I ask a question on the insurance? If you are on a golf cart and you hit a car and you do damage to their vehicle, how does that, what you were just saying, Rose, how does that work? If you don't have insurance on your golf cart, who pays the damages for that
You're paying
vehicle
on
you
your
just
own
hit?
Be a civil liability.
Okay,
Yeah, it'd be whoever hit them would be liable.
okay.
We were having 12-year-olds driving the golf carts, so we didn't want
How do you sue a
to.
12-year-old?
Right, a 12-year-old
You
wrecking
go
into
for the parents.
a Mercedes.
You know, when you boil it down, it's just specifically is the local government's decision whether to let the law, let it go as it is, or to make it legal. That's the two choices. There's really no in between. I mean, it's either goes like it is, or you make it legal, in which case the people that don't become legal are gonna be illegal, but they aren't gonna be any more illegal than they are today. They're gonna be the same illegal as they are today.
So what we're gonna do, have Bud just draw up the ordinance, or?
Yeah.
Do we have to decide on like a fine or a fee? Like it's not specifically spelled out in the KRS, but like this Prestonsburg one, they have like a $25 violation and a $50 violation. stuff like that, we have to decide that too.
Yep. I mean, it's, you make it up out of whole cloth.
That's purple secret, yeah.
I say we need to do something on it, cause I think if we don't, we're gonna be, something happens, well, you all need a position.
I would assume if you wanna do golf, you're just gonna do UTV at the same time.
I'd say do both of them at the same time.
I don't know if those would need to be separate ordinances, Bud, or if they can be combined, the ones I saw are separate.
Yeah. I guess we could probably do it either way.
So, it's up to you all, if you want Bud to prepare an ordinance, it's just gonna be an ordinance that mimics that law, that's about it.
Yeah.
I like what Preston's virtues.
Yeah, I think the Prestonsburg one's a good model. Chief, do you have any preference? Do you think that any of these is better than, they're all pretty similar?
That's, yeah, I think they all have pretty good. Just some of them seems like the other ones, like the fines are just a lot more, or, you know, this one's pretty reasonable.
I don't really see a need in listing streets either,
Yeah.
city streets or not, you know, we know where the state roads are too.
So it would include basically all
All
cities.
streets, yeah.
Chief, was there something about crossing the state road in the UTV one?
Fence.
No, they can travel up to 20
Yeah.
miles on the state road.
UTV, you can drive on the state roads, yeah, the golf cart one was, there was a crossing,
So that, they're gonna have to be separate.
It has to do with the speed of the road too,
Yes.
right?
yeah, if it's there, cause most golf
Over
carts
35.
don't go over 35, so if the roadway's 35 or more, it's not permitted to.
So if am I understanding right, if, on the golf cart, on the state roads, if the speed limit's over 35, they're prohibited, period, we cannot change that. If it's over 35, right?
Yes, so yeah, it's got, they can't cross the roadway at an intersection where the roadway being crossed has a posted speed limit of more than 35 miles an hour.
What's Madison Street?
But I would imagine, like at the red light at Madison Main Cross, that's a controlled intersection, so it would probably be okay there. And Lady Washington, but probably an uncontrolled one, where there's nothing to slow anybody down.
Right.
I would imagine, be my interpretation of that.
Makes- What is the speed limit on Madison?
25, I'm for sure.
25.
Yes.
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, 2565 would be the only road in city limits that would be over that. Well, of course, 23 is part of that, but they're not business out there on the golf cart anyway.
Okay, to not beat a dead horse, if you all then want to, entertain a ordinance that allows the use of golf carts / UTVs, even though it may have to be two ordinances. The UTV, when I'm assuming would mimic the county, what they've just done, I think Johnson County just did too. That would make what's legal in the county legal in the city. And then it would add golf carts in the city. And again, like Ms. Lester said, as far as the making money, that's a state law thing, it's not us trying to make money on it. We might recoup the cost of putting a sticker on it, that'd be all we do. And I believe that it spells out the fee for the sheriff, don't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
specifically, yeah, for both of them, it specifically says what the sheriff has to charge.
All right, I don't think we need any, if you all want to direct Bud to try to draft a ordinance for you to look at the next meeting as a first reading, we can just tell him that and go from there.
And then base the fees on Prestonsburg's charges.
Oh, on the,
Which is state charges too, so.
Is that the deal?
Well, the section on.
You're right, the
Yeah.
violations.
Right, violations, yeah.
So with an ordinance, would that be effective immediately, or do we
just
say?
a first reading, second reading, run in the paper, and then sign.
Okay, but at that point, or could we say give folks effective January 1st or whatever, to give people time to get everything?
Yeah. Yeah, you can can make it effective, whatever that.
Yeah.
Or I put seatbelts in their golf cart or something.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I own one, and I'm gonna sell it, I ain't fooling with it. But, mine was pretty upscale, it don't have all those lights. I'd have to add lights, and it was kinda, I felt it kinda odd that you couldn't use hand signals, but if you look at the motorcycle law, you can use hand signals. But that's not us, that's state stuff, I mean, but if you notice, it don't let you use hand signals on the golf cart. But the motorcycle law, which can be 70 miles an hour, does let you use hand signals.
Most people don't know what they are nowadays anyway.
But,
It's usually not the hand signal we use.
I guess we would need to give Bud some direction on, Chief can work with him on the speed and the streets and that sort of thing. But as far as a penalty, if there has to be one, we would need to tell him what we want that to be. You want to amendment P-Bird?
Yeah.
All right, that makes it easy for reading. Then you all have a chance to read it, and look at it, and vote. And,
And you can change it,
pardon?
and they can change it at the next
Change.
meeting.
And I think Caleb makes a good point. So again, I hope that we can construe this to the public, that we're not here to make something illegal. It's already illegal. We're here to make something legal. That makes sense? Huh?
That's good, that's what we want.
That's what we want, ain't it? But it got turned around like we made it illegal. I mean, I didn't make it illegal. All right, Bud, we'll work on that. We'll put it on the agenda for September. If you all remember last month, or, well, sometime back, we talked about, that the city had been working on, obviously, we've been working on a new sewer plant for umpteen years, and we're getting closer and closer than ever. With some of the funding that we have in place, it left us, we have about, $11.5–12 million of funding in place that's gonna be either no match or minimal match. So basically, it's $11.5 million, for the city, free money. But that's the way everything's escalated from the time this started to now, that's still not enough. The cost of everything's went up. So we're looking at, additional about $3.5 million. So we worked, on getting our, the state comes up with what's called intended use plan, and each system is ranked, and your projects across the state are ranked in the system. And so to be included in Kentucky Infrastructure Authority's Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund, you have to rank to a certain level. So we've worked for the last 2 years to try to get our ranking to that level where we would be included in this year's round of funding. So we got an email that says your city, your Louisa Water is invited to apply for the Cleaner Water State Revolving Loan Fund. And which that means if you're gonna apply, you're gonna get it unless there's some reason financially that you can't. They will review your financials in depth. They'll review 5 years of audits in depth. They'll go through your finances with a fine-tooth comb to be sure your system can afford to do what you want to do. Provided that, now I go to a board meeting when that's presented in Frankfurt. Provided that is past the financial, then we would be awarded a $4.8 million Cleaner Water State Revolving Loan Fund loan with $1.35 million of forgiveness. So out of the 4.8, 1.3 you don't have to pay back. So it goes down to 3 whatever. That will be enough for us to finish our sewer project. Now, we're still waiting on some final stages from FEMA with the $7.5 million through hazard mitigation. The $3 million earmark, we're in the final stages of that. We got the environmental reviews back on that last week. And I know that's a lot to, I don't know how to make it any simpler in a 5-minute message, But Caleb sits on the utility board, he makes every meeting, and he can tell you we spend hours going through this and planning how to come up with the money to do it. So the utility board suggests that I accept that invitation for the loan. So on the email, I had so many days to accept or deny the invitation. So I accepted the invitation, but once I get that, you guys gotta pass a resolution that says we're actually gonna do it. So in your packet was a resolution from Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, which would agree to go on to the next step of the loan application. It'll go before the full Kentucky Infrastructure Authority Board for that review process. So I would need that resolution approved.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. McClanahan,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Brown. Any questions? Like I said, I know it's time, and Caleb's in on the wall, it's just a resolution, so I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 16 million, whatever. We're in need of purchasing some property there. We've been working on that for a good deal of time. FEMA is going to approve using FEMA funds to purchase with. The only thing is, that FEMA money on the hazard mitigation side, phase one of this project, 600,000, has to be reimbursed. So in other words, we've got to make the transaction, purchase the property, pay the property owners, then submit that for reimbursement, and then we would get reimbursed 95%. We'd be up 5% on the property purchase. So, as you can imagine, that's a big chunk of change to come up with all at once. So I asked you all last month to agree to apply for some interim financing through Kentucky Rural Water Association, which we're a member of and hardly ever use, honestly. They come up with, they have some bond funds at certain periods of time specifically for interim financing, these type of projects. So we submitted the application, they sent a resolution. If you all approve this resolution, we would be awarded that loan $511,000. That will do what needs to be done, and then would be reimbursed with the FEMA funds once we submit the paperwork. We did end up going with the plan that is August of 26. It can't be paid off until August 26th. So if we take this money, we can't take it this month, pay it off next, it's just the way bonds work. But August 26th after, we can pay it off, and the interest is real, 3.45, probably in that resolution. It's very, very competitive. You won't, like we looked at banks and it ain't even close. Banks have said that, something like that.
That's what, option two?
Yes.
3.46.
3.46. So after August 26th, we can pay it off. But if any reason we couldn't, which there should be no reason, any reason we couldn't, we don't have to pay it off for 3 years. We wouldn't have to pay it off till August, 3 years from this August, 28th. But we want, now, I also went ahead and checked with FEMA, knowing federal funds can be very tricky. Like, if we submit for the reimbursement, say, let's say we get this done in November, October, November, we submit it to FEMA, we get reimbursed from FEMA, but we can't pay this loan off in that dollar. Can we take those federal FEMA dollars and put in the bank and draw interest from now until next August? I got the answer from that in email, it says yes. So we can draw interest on that until next August. So, guys, it's like, in my 10 years, I've never done anything like, it's like working a jigsaw puzzle, trying to get funding from ARC. Sally, you're gonna know what I'm talking, ARC, FEMA hazard mitigation, a congressional earmark, which they're gonna fund through EPA, KIA, SRF, and make all that mesh together and work.
It ain't simple.
No, it's not. It's the most challenging thing I've done, certainly. But we're there, we're closer than ever. And I'm told the FEMA, I talked to the state hazard mitigation officer, week before last, and said, man, listen, I understand slogans, but I don't understand stalls. We just ain't moving, you know, she made some calls and she sent me an email and assures me that it's in the right hands of the right person. FEMA's had a huge turnover, if you've noticed. And so we get somebody working, and in 3 weeks, you got somebody else, and that's been challenged. But she assures me that we are ever so close and that it's gonna happen. Any questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve resolution for Kentucky Rural Water?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Lester.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Clayton. Hearing no other questions, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Existing. What Chief would like to do, and he can explain if you have questions, I think their guns are maybe made in 1824, the year after the city started or something like that. He would like to get rid of those and get new, more modern firearms. We can use, what do you call that money?
Asset forfeiture funds.
Asset forfeiture funds, meaning money they get from, I guess, drug dealers or whoever. Money they seize during, violations that we have on hand. We can use that money to do this, it's approved with the state. He had a plan, he ran it through me, ran it through the city attorney, and I think the city attorney from ATF. What he would like to do is to offer the weapons to the police officers that's carried them for years at a price. Cause you know, it is a gun, so something's gotta be done with it. So what we would like to do is the proper thing is to transfer the ownership to some individual and being the police officers that's carried them for years. He ran that through ATF. What do you wanna add, Steve?
Just, that's pretty previous years when new guns were bought, that's what they did then, but yeah, the ATF said that it was no requirement, but if we wanted to track it to kind of just absolve the city of liability of that gun, that we could, file paperwork with a licensed firearm dealer, or, there's a legal letter that we can do and send to them to stamp and get notarized. They said it was a little bit lengthier process, but, the dealer that has the state contract for Kentucky, that we've purchased ammo and weapons from in the past, will do that paperwork, I found out for us, and just, we can do everything else that we gotta do, and they'll do the paperwork for us on that, just to show, and then they keep the firearm was transferred to the individual and is no longer tied to the city.
I think he also had a price.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, the quote I got for him, I requested, 8 duty guns, which is the bigger weapon that we carry on our belt, and then the smaller gun, which is a backup gun that officers will carry on their ankle or inside their vest or in their vehicle, and then it's also a smaller gun that they can carry concealed if they're off duty or working, doing, you know, something in plain clothes. So the reason I requested 8, we have 6 officers, have 2 extra on hand in case there was to be an issue with one getting damaged. And in the past, gun has fell out and then hit the pavement and messed it up, and we had, you know, if we've got one on hand, or if the unfortunate event that an officer's in a shooting, we would call the state police critical incident investigation team, and they actually seize your firearm while they're doing that. So we would have 2 extra firearms on hand to issue the officer, so they're not without and put us in a bind. But so with that, and then the quote on the new 9mm ammo, because what we're carrying now is 40 caliber. They sent me a quote. It's $7,980 for the 16 guns, and then approximately 3,000 rounds of ammo. That'd be practice ammo and then duty ammo. There's 2. The practice ammo is made different, it's a little cheaper for when we have to qualify to meet our state requirements. And then duty ammo is just, it's designed different to Somebody's got body armor, different stuff like that, to be a little bit more effective, but it's a little bit more, but that was the quote they'd give me. And that's Keesler's Police Supply, they're located in Indiana, like I said, they've got the state contract for Kentucky for law enforcement.
And what was the price of the guns back to the officers?
So, just, most agencies I talked to, so the new weapons are, 400, the backup guns are 409, the duty guns are 481. So most agencies I talk to, when they do that, they'll usually, of course, it's a used gun you're selling them, but they'll usually do about half the price of that, and the used weapons usually go around $200 or $300. So what I, was wanting to propose, active officers that are working now could be able to purchase those for $200 each. And then just something, recently retired Chief Fugit and Sergeant Cordell had inquired about obtaining their weapons. And I thought, just as a gesture of their appreciation for their longstanding service and retirement, that we would give them the option to purchase them for $100 each.
You know, be clear, we have the money in that forfeiture fund, because it's already in the bank when we do the budget, so it's not showing in the budget, cause it's already in the bank. It's not coming in this year, and we never didn't know they was gonna spend anything out, so the expense is not in the budget. So the money's there, we would expend it and then add the income and the expense in the budget, reflected after he makes the transaction.
Do we have to charge them, or can we just give them to them as a gift? An appreciation of all
I mean,
the
that's,
The
you could,
problem-
but I was
problem-
just trying to recoup a
Yeah.
little so we could put
Problem
towards
with that is,
ammo and things.
Giving away city property can be tricky.
Yeah.
Can we charge them $10?
Whatever, that was just my, I thought that was but yeah, I mean, y'all could,
I mean, they can put their life on the line to serve.
I agree, I would wholeheartedly like to say
And
yes.
they don't get paid that
Like
much.
Bud said, still, you're just
Half.
disposing of city property, so.
That wouldn't look like you give it away,
But
but
can
yet
we
it would
do
have,
50?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Can we do 50 rather than?
I would think, but.
No, it has to be 100.
I think we have to be able to
It's a
defend the
used-
price.
It's used equipment, Bud. You don't like used equipment.
Well, I'm a lowly city attorney, I just tell you what the law is.
We won't go to jail, I don't think.
All right, what's the pleasure of the
Determine
council?
what we have to do then, see what they have to do.
I don't know what the value is, I think he mentioned, he thought that would be close to value.
Yes, like I said, yeah, the around 200 to 250 is what most, the gun we have is what it's going for, used in most places.
Yeah, I like that because I don't think you may ever question it, but if they did, that's a defendable price. We can defend that.
Cause it's the value.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's based,
Retail on a used vehicle for.
Did the officers like that idea?
Yes, yeah, they're all for it. I mean, they was willing to pay more if they had to, but, but I thought especially for the retired ones, that's just, something.
I'll tell you what y'all could do to help them more, you could payroll it up at the full payments.
I think that's what they did the last time back in. But.
You gonna help me?
That would help them.
I think we should help, I think.
Sound good? Somebody make a motion. Motion by Mr. Farley,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Chapin. Any questions? Or follow through with the officers, and if they're working, we'll do payroll deduction if they so choose. That work? All right.
Sticking with those
The
numbers.
amount, did you finalize the amount?
Yes, fair market.
Bud said
Bud
two.
thinks you better stick
Can we
to
just make everybody two instead of?
fair market value,
Okay.
which is what Chief said. All right, last council comments.
Did you approve the minutes from last meeting?
We did.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
We did that first.
Okay.
We would entertain any comments from you all. It is a special meeting. Oh, I do have one other thing. I think Rita laid on your thing. You'll see, in the paper, advertisement for the fire training tower construction, fire training center construction, excuse me, over the next 2 weeks. And you all will open those bids at the next meeting in September and hopefully award the contract to the appropriate bidder for that bid. That's all. Any comments from the council? All right, hearing none.
The, $200 for the guns, is that for just the active officers now? Okay,
The retired officers, 100.
yes, and that would be Ed and Greg.
That's great.
Anybody else, like, inactive officers that are not included in, okay.
Yeah, just retired, ones that have actually retired with us.
Okay, now, I have one more question, I'm sorry. Hunter, who's gonna replace Hunter?
Let me talk about Hunter real quick. I was gonna bring that up, for some of y'all that might not know, Detective Hunter James left the police force last week, wasn't it? He did give appropriate 2 weeks' notice to the department. He decided to move out of the area, and, I think it was, personal, and according to his letter of resignation, it was personal, and professional, nothing to do with our department. He said he loved his job, and, agreed to give him 100% for the last 2 weeks that he was here, but, they were gonna be moving to another state closer to some family and taking another job. So Hunter's been here, he's been here longer than I have. He was working when I came, he was married. I think he's been 13 years and 12 and a half. So, obviously, a lot to lose. So we are short one. We do have one in school, Mr. Smith, that you all approved a while back, and he's in his 3rd or 4th week at Richmond.
Yeah.
And, Chief is actively seeking, replacement, but we're not anywhere to the point to announce that yet.
Hints? Just a hint?
Sorry. But we are looking. I do not have anything for executive. Nothing else? I'd introduce a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to.
Motion by Ms. Hill,